Is Sephora the
Sit down.
Christie is the email quarantine software, SOPHOS.
Thanks, sir.
Perfect, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
The envelopes over there.
Good morning.
Yes, customer stuff. Morning.
Hi,
How are you?
not good, but I'm here. Oh, no.
Is this the same? They already got served, so I don't even know. Interesting.
Good
Morning, Mark.
Yeah, yeah, it was good out there. It was open things.
How's your mom?
Well, she's still in the hospital.
Here she
That's where I'm headed as soon as I get out of here. Trying to get a rehab to go to down
Oh, I got you.
there. I don't think she'll ever get to go back home and live by herself.
Yeah,
I really don't want her to.
I got you, makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, 91 years old, but below 60.
Yeah.
Morning. How are you?
All I like is what I have in the room.
Great.
Nursing home next.
Morning.
Good morning.
I
You
really
have
don't
to.
want to go to the nursing home. I mean, when she doesn't want to leave.
At least we find out she wanted to leave, so I didn't have that leave and stuff like that. She ended up living with both daughters. She died when she was young.
As long as they're
But we had,
able to take care of themselves, but much of it's down the road, still not care. You either have to be in the house or in the nursing home.
that's where the private nurse,
Right.
next to a hospital.
Well, and then they're gonna have a good friend again. Well, anybody together.
Anyway, yeah. Her room's 6,000, rooms,
Well,
yeah, car.
they're pretty close. Reed and I, talking about Jeremy, he's the
Yeah,
legal guy that group. And he's gonna come along, as I said,
really.
well, broken arms. I'm going to go down to the side of the building and see what I need.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's about 2 weeks out.
So we can go to the gas.
That's what you were
So
talking
we're
about.
trying to keep the hospital from breathing.
Oh, yes. He's not
Can they
bored.
just go to swing in the hospital or didn't?
Well, it's really going to move here, maybe mid-February.
Yeah. So I think that gives you 2 weeks.
So, I don't know. I haven't spent much time in the hospital.
When I was in hospital, it's nice. I'm not too.
And the most often, the most often, it's not that easy.
I know, it's not it's unfortunate.
It is. Usually.
Your crew, ultimately.
Oh, you guys live down in Johnsonville, like an 80 year. Well, we got some
This is
projects.
You share, I didn't make it a good deal. You would start or whatever.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
man, it's her.
on Johnsonville Saturday, and yesterday, part of the day was, that's, that might be. And they just can't keep up.
Understand?
So will we send bills for 8 or wait till next week?
People are climbing up, so we got to go in and do
far as I hear, you're bringing a lot of people up from the band, and so I think you have
Yeah.
3 workers.
As far as the workforce,
Can you come in Friday for
It's
those?
that,
Oh,
it's
okay.
maintenance,
That's
So
fine.
it's,
maintenance.
So-
need some skill, basically.
Yeah, like Taylor Allen, he's got all his training down in the Anheuser's, but the one that, well, another company's hired you up. And then football, like,
Yeah,
Yes.
that works out.
all certified, to take care of stuff.
Right.
January's almost gone.
In this, we just had last week.
Yeah.
Well, I just had another one this morning, the certified kit.
Yeah,
Nice
that's
visual.
successful.
No, I don't know.
That's careful.
Oh, I got you.
You know what the AAA board is?
I think it's just been,
Perfect. Just want to double check.
Not quite. Probably won't be more than a week before we have
Oh,
everything.
yeah, no way. This, you know, if that's gonna fall out, it's gonna get muddy, I think you can summarize it by the reasons. And then we're gonna need some free back. So I'm gonna take all the glass out. We'll shut the top of that.
Yeah, good. We just didn't have a manager, it was one week's out.
Yeah.
We got those 3 days that come
You
out.
called me or?
The one set up too. We've sold most of the doors inside, so.
And you'll probably.
Lawyer, that way.
You wanna keep the top on.
The excitement.
Bill, so you get some
No,
more.
those are, yes, all 3 doors were new, probably some new years ago. So
Okay.
there's a south door and there's a west door. They're all newer, 2 years, 15 years, it's been. So that-
Have you had any township meetings yet?
For what?
Well,
Like
we'll-
Sulphur
we'll go
Township.
over it
Oh, yeah.
before
No,
we-
Yeah.
I've been there, a couple months ago.
So my son's down there.
Yeah.
And then dirt is
Just
what I
on
want to
the
get
short
out
end.
there.
Okay.
Is it-
Yeah.
I say, I knew Lee was the attorney before, so
Yeah.
you got to take that over too.
Oh, yeah.
I think Howard
So you're
goes
not-
down to rubber, you know.
No, pretty much.
No
I've
more
got
than a-
probably 2 nights a month and.
Oh, well, somebody take the gutters out, past you, and not help those.
But that meeting's during the day. It's,
Any suggestions?
Yeah, that's the one.
I was kind of surprised that it was during the day.
Yeah, they're
Yes,
just,
at noon, so.
most of them won't fit anything
Yeah,
else.
plus, that's what it is.
And then.
They got it pretty well done.
Hi, Alex.
Yeah, that's good.
Everything else is, it's hard to rework it.
thank you. I appreciate that, the one on the,
The federal legislation.
I'm very excited to see where that goes. So, any updates you ever get,
I just trying to say.
I read that, so
It's just,
that was a well done.
and then I went, you know, go online and I went to the Bureau of Indian Affairs website and they had some good information on there and so.
I know, hard to get out of work at
Well, I figured
fundraisers,
they,
volunteer
that was
work.
same with them for one thing, it's, keep track of that.
There you go.
Yeah, I know how the other one got over.
And
It's not a good thing.
I get the money for it, and then roll them, and that's about, every year the cost goes up.
Let's save it for 4 years. See what they will check. This is last year's, you were adopted this.
Oh, yeah.
We got $50 to keep back. And this one, this,
Yeah, we just want to,
it's good. And then you're gonna move it. You have to not be moved. Mine has to move.
we estimate the cost of this removal. It's not many years, so. So it's probably up a little bit from that. I went upstairs.
I wasn't here a lot, last year was so.
I just leave that one, I'm just giving that.
Yeah, I think so. Just leave it there.
That's the worst, that's a pension.
Yeah.
Started
Usually I
using
just call it
easy
clock,
change.
because it's fully work. I think it's more of a timepiece than a clock.
It's nice.
Yeah, it was.
All right, I've got 9 o'clock, the local meeting is pledged. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Mark, you're on hot seat. If you want to come up,
I can do it.
what you got?
The Jackson County Historical Society. Now, I'm sure you all know where the Rupke House is.
I don't, and I,
This house to be removed is at 208 New York.
You're gonna remove the house?
Yeah, it's south of the Rupke
Oh,
House.
south of Rumpke House, okay, okay, I thought you said Rumpke House because you're removing this house.
No, not the
Okay.
Rupke House. But anyway, you guys know what stuff costs. Well, what I'm asking of the commission is to waive the dumping fee at the landfill. And we've got an estimate here, I've been talking with Ed Rossfeder. And to dump that house at the landfill will be between $4,500 and $5,200. I'm just trying to save the Jackson County Historical Society that cost. Because we got all that Capital Trucking Company that does a lot of hauling up there, they're gonna do the hauling. And then we're just gonna bring in our excavators and tear the house down.
Okay, so Bettis Capital Trucking is going to waive their fees or?
Oh,
No?
no, their fees are, per truck is $135 an hour per truck.
Okay,
That's from leaving Topeka until they get back to Topeka. I'm figuring 2 trucks, it'll probably take 10 hours.
have we talked to them about possibly donating some of their time?
They won't do it.
They will not do it, absolutely.
I haven't even talked to them.
Well, I'd approach them on it and see what they say. I mean, we do a lot of business with Bettis, a lot of business with Capital
I haven't talked to
Trucking,
Mark Hyde, Mark's their man in charge of Capital Trucking,
so.
and I can talk to him.
I'd talk to him, just broach him on the subject and see if they can waive part of their fees to do it. Personally, myself, I don't have a problem, doing it. Go ahead and,
I just have a couple, do you have any idea how many yards?
Of rubble?
Yeah,
Well, these dirt barrel beds that they've got, they hold 20 yards per barrel bed.
okay.
And they're estimating 18 to 20 loads. And the landfill charge is $13 a yard.
Okay. Do you mind if I ask what the purpose is for tearing it down? And how did the?
Yeah, it's not-
Sure, oh, absolutely.
Sure is.
How they acquired it and some of those things.
Okay, long-term plan, going back 35 years or so, was to put a new museum there. So it's taken us this long to reach this point.
Okay.
We own the building downtown here in the corner.
Mhm.
We own the Roki House. We purchased the lot in the house next door about 20, 25, maybe 30 years ago, I think they all. And we've had our research materials in there for all those years. And the long-term plan was that that building would come down, so that this gives the area for a new museum. And we had the new museum and the Roki House all in one spot, and this will be sold.
The corner building will be sold.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, that's the plan.
Did-
That's the long-term plan.
So my other question before hauling in there, has everything been tested? I mean, you know, we can't just haul anything in there.
Yeah, I talked to Ed down there from landfill, he says everything is okay to come to landfill. Says if there is any hazardous materials, he wants it lighted down before they
So I would prefer, I mean, Ed does a wonderful job down there, Ed's very knowledgeable. Scott Kefauver, our Public Works Director, I'd like him, he's right behind you.
can. Yeah.
And I want Scott involved in this conversation, because he's the one who is in charge of all this. So just to bring you up to speed, we have a house here in town, the Historical Society wants to tear it down, Scott, and they would like for the county to waive the fees to haul all this rubble to the landfill. Any questions that you have, you're the man with the knowledge of this, I'd like you to ask or speak to it.
Well, is it something that the county's requested to be torn down, or?
No, no.
It's as Ann explained, it's a house that they purchased 25, 30 years ago. And they've been storing their historical documents in it. And now they feel that now it's time to go ahead and build a new museum in itself, building on the corner.
The 208 New York,
Yeah.
the museum location, the new structure, which would be just south of the Rupke House and maybe 210,
216.
216.
I guess my question to you, Scott, is there any questions that you have as far as the shingles, the paint, anything within that? Do you have a problem with it going to the landfill?
We'd like to have, anytime we do houses, like the metal separated out, like hot water heaters, things like that separated out. No air conditioning type units with Freon or anything like that, no refrigerators.
It's already been done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Virgil's already removed all the metal, all the ductwork, the heating systems, AC systems, HVAC, all that's been removed. Sewer and water have been cut back to the sewer line and water at the curb stop.
Yes.
Gas has been removed. Everything's ready to go.
So how many loads are we talking?
They were saying 18 to 20.
Semi-loads, dump truck
Semi,
loads?
for capital trucking,
Yeah,
trucking
that's
in their
good.
barrel beds.
And those aren't going to be packed. I mean, there's no way you can pack them like that, right?
Well, we're gonna take it out with an excavator and a thumb, so we can crunch that
Crush it,
stuff up pretty good. The only thing is hard to get out of a regular dump truck is the end gates don't open high. With the barrel beds, the end gates
Yep.
open high. And Ed doesn't wanna have a backhoe down there to assist taking stuff out of a regular dump truck.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a one-man show, so.
Yeah. I mean, he'll do it. And then the only other problem we have, and I talked to Ed about this too, is his time of being open there. But he said he was willing to come in on his own time if it happens to be that day that we truck this stuff down.
Scott, do you have,
We've never done that with anybody else. We've got shingle people that want us to do that all the time, we don't do it.
I mean, I would coordinate when they were open, try to coordinate
Oh,
the
yeah.
days when
I
they
mean,
were open.
that's the game plan, is
Yeah.
to do it when they're open, but the weather never, it's hard to factor the weather.
Sure.
the only thing I know is that sometimes, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, sometimes, like right now, this time of the year, if it's a Wednesday and Darlene doesn't have anything,
Right.
she's been sending him down.
Right.
And
So I
so,
don't have an issue with that, but, Monday he's off,
right,
Yeah,
so.
and so, yeah, as long as it's within hours and he can take care of it, that's gonna be a lot for him to get covered up. We may have to consider maybe possibly Scott having somebody down there to just help him with the other traffic that's coming in. Cause
Yeah.
he's gotta have that all covered by the end of the day, correct?
No.
No?
Not by this day.
Not by the end
No.
of, before
He has to have a solid cover over every quarter.
every quarter. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So, I don't,
Like I say, I personally don't have a problem with it,
Yeah.
waiving the fee for it.
I'm fine waiving the fees for this still Friday.
okay.
So,
Linda?
I make a motion that we waive the fee at the landfill for the Historical Society.
I'll second
To take
that.
down the house.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded that we waive the fee at the landfill for the Historical Society dump for the house. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Would
While
you
you're
like
here.
our financials?
What's that?
Would you like our financial report?
Well, I was gonna say, while you're here, we had talked, who did you talk to?
It was Mary Schultz.
Yes, Barry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, since you're here, if you wanna make your request, save you a trip.
Okay, we request the 3,000 from the same as you've done the last few years.
Okay,
We'd like to see that more. Can I request 5?
you can,
And,
Okay, I'll request 5.
okay,
but
and things are kinda tight this year, so we'll have to kinda play that by ear, but it's duly noted that you're requesting 5. We'll see if we can do. Okay?
Okay. Do you, we, as a 501c3 organization, we have to make our financials available. Do you want me to leave this copy for you to
that's,
peruse this?
Yeah, that'd be great.
that'd be great.
I need it back.
Okay.
but This is the copy you can have.
And then your request, if you would, just email that to
You
Christie.
need it in the email.
I would
Yeah, that way
prefer,
it's just on paper.
That way we have a record
Paper
of it.
trail for it,
Yeah,
so.
that's fine.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, like I say, that just save you another trip.
Okay.
All right,
Thanks,
appreciate
bud.
it, guys,
See ya.
thank you.
This should be cute. This is good. And this shows.
How you doing?
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Scott, how are you?
Exciting, a new museum. I think that's a long
Watch-
time
watch
coming.
the-
It's gonna be a long time.
Tom and doing that, or-
Yeah, one step at a time.
You can't use your hands still, you know, they still got all that carpal tunnel surgery that they did.
Yeah.
Getting a bill now for $11,000 and it didn't help, and they want to do the other one, and it seems like it's worse now than it was. You know, I know she sits around, you know, looks like a cripple anymore. I said, yes, move your hands, she just hurts too much. She's just sitting there floppy, you know.
Makes you wonder if second opinion or third opinion.
Something,
Do you try to get therapy or anything?
Huh.
all that stuff. And it basically came down when she had that kidney removed. I think they moved around and messed with that, because she came out of surgery with the nuts. And now they're saying that she's got nerve damage in her carpal tunnel, nerve damage in her elbows, and nerve damage in her neck.
That's too bad.
You go in and find them out, worse than the wind.
Yep. All right, what you got for us today?
Okay, first off, we have the contract utilities, the bids came in from contractors for this side. For the 254 bridge out there, I'm sorry, 246 bridge.
Okay, 246.
Yeah, yeah. Just, contracts have been accepted, there's 2 bids on the back there. So
ask you whether we, snowstorm would qualify for any Kansas.
You did, and I talked with, Pat.
Bridge on 246.
And she said that
She said it. I thought I had. Thank you. Just email it. That'd be great.
So it's just somebody to sign.
Yes, but, he can look at it if he wants to. Do we need a motion to approve the contract?
Did you see anything in there that was stuck out?
I didn't see anything.
These are pretty standard.
Todd's,
they are.
Todd's looked it over,
I don't know if he's seen it.
I don't think I have, what is it?
Contract.
contract for bridge replacement on 246, that's what we've been talking about.
The government funding.
This involves state Kansas funds.
Well, I don't remember, recall looking at it.
We'll let you take a look at it right now before we sign everything.
Yeah.
Take a motion on it.
Okay, then we have our right-of-way form that we have out there. That's the last page here, we've got the old commissioners on there, we need to deal with the new commissioners and chair signatures.
And that's the only thing that's changed on this, we didn't make the other changes in the.
Citizens permission for right-of-way.
You just approved the bid on this.
Yes.
Okay, and that's, if the state's good with that, then that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll move that we approve the contracts for the bridge at Circleville.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the bid, is it bid for the bridge? Approve the bid for the bridge on 246. Any further discussion?
No.
If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. So you just want me signature on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll time for the rest out on the date and all that stuff.
That's a different.
That's different. Well, we don't have that. No. So we're gonna need one line.
That's on you guys. All right, I will.
Yeah, so this is the resolution. So, this is resolution 20, so we don't need to, we shouldn't have to redo any,
The
That there is
resolution should
just-
stand, shouldn't it?
yeah, the resolution's gonna stand. That there should just be, if somebody fills that out, bring it in, then the chairman will sign it. Away we go. Okay.
This is our, yeah, we talked about with, Jay Con Bond,
Okay, and, did we outline our expectations for them?
we went over that level 4 position,
Okay.
as well as outlined in that. Talked to them, put down in. Then we have also, we had, Wes Andretti quit last Friday, so his paperwork's in there, he's the very plate operator we were training down here, so he quit. And then Jason Megason's also in there, 6 months ago, we talked to him about doing some improvements on his performance and talked to Matt, he agreed, he came along like he should, so this is a 6-month deal for him.
What are we gonna do for a blade operator that may have.
We've got Bob, who's back in there for now. Oh, no.
For a temporary?
And we got a couple applicants. We've got one this morning. We talked to a guy last week. He's in the process of
Doesn't
retiring.
have his budget.
Yes.
He's been, is in the process of retiring. So March 3rd is his time when he's going to come on board, to go to Class A, license.
Run blade.
We asked him about that, and he said he really didn't care to.
Oh, right.
Yes. Well, it'll be, he can run the backhoes and skid steers and all that, excavators and all that stuff. Didn't know if you guys got any phone calls on people that's got recycling trailers at their places, that some of them had gotten snow packed in around them and couldn't get them out, so you get calls, we'll get them when we can.
Did not.
Back when I came on board with the road and bridge, they just purchased, blades for, motor graders. And it's $15,000 budget. We still have 110 of those in stock today from 4 years ago. And so, there's $15,000 a year that we haven't been using. This year we may have to dip into that for blades. We can run through these 110 this year. That's basically, with the 12 units that we have, you can change them out 8 times per year, so it's 96 blades total. So we've got enough to run for this year. They should change them out, just depend on the ice and what they're dragons. I just want the option to use that money elsewhere later in the year if we need to. Like I said, I think we will need to be buying blades sometime this year, but I don't think we need to buy them for the last. It's all like it was 500.
Okay.
Just, let's revisit that later on if we need to, because I got a feeling they're going to be going up.
Oh,
So,
yeah, since from 5 years ago, yeah.
Well, and even in the near future, I got a feeling they're going up, so let's revisit that, as we need to.
Okay. Just a thought here to kick around, our chip and seal this year, we got 11.5 miles that we had on schedule. Most of them are like a little short, a mile here, half mile there, type of things. You want to entertain maybe skip a year, save about $200,000. Some of the roads need to back.
I think that, on that, we're gonna have to take a look at the condition of those roads, because we don't wanna let them go. So, yeah, I think we're, after
You guys
spring
still have
this
the
year.
copy, you still have the copy of what we had for this year?
The number of roads to chip and seal?
Yeah. I can get it.
I think we need, yeah, let's get that back.
But you have them on a 3-year rotation, right? Or is it 5 year? Or 5 years? So I guess I'd like you to go out and evaluate. If we're not going to completely chip and seal, we're going to skip a year.
See what it's gonna do to everything else.
Well, I just want to make sure that we're putting extra effort into patching holes and or blowouts. If we have some of those from time to time where the bar,
Right.
that would be we still spend some money on it to make sure that we're getting the holes fixed correctly, not just throwing something in it and, that type of thing.
Yeah, and that's what I said, I think we need to look at the condition of the roads that we want to skip,
Yeah.
because if they're in pretty poor condition, or getting to be pretty poor condition, we don't want to let them go to where we're losing. So consequently, there again, when do you normally put out bids, or
They
is it
come out
bids?
pretty quick, usually February. Then we do the dust control and the chip and seal about the same time.
Like maybe toward the end of February, or,
Mid-February.
Okay, so let's try to schedule a time to where we're going out and looking at these roads, within the next couple of weeks. So that we got an idea of what we're looking at. 'Cause like I say, I don't wanna skip them
Right.
if we're gonna, lose them. So, okay.
Let's see. Got a little thing that says, we got our LTAC classes, that I talked to you guys about. Here's kind of an idea of what they'll be doing in those classes. What breakdown things.
And who are we sending to these?
Right now, for the asphalt road, street maintenance, we got Matt, Bob Miller, Braden, Jason, and Jason Mason, Landon. For supervisory class, we got Matt, Brandon, Jay, Bob, and Todd. Public works, we got me. And then for the gravel road maintenance, we got Vaughn, Weston's gone now. They came off the list. Jared Gay, Landon Bagley, and Jason Fulkerson would like to go for a refresher. What, $65 class, I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
65 cents.
Is it like a one-day thing?
Yeah. Okay, there's a gentleman in here last week that I saw on video here that was asking about a culvert or bridge over on 246 and T4. Went and looked at that, and he is correct, the walls are collapsing in, and we've got that on our schedule now to replace that with steel.
Yeah, I took Linda over there and showed her that.
Okay.
The week after we talked to me about that.
Okay.
She was gonna do something about it, get it.
Yeah,
Make
it was
something
never
temporary.
passed along, it's never passed along. So
Okay.
Matt and I looked at it, and he's getting with Michael Harris, who's our engineer, that does our inspections, to get the water range figured out. That would be the right size too.
Okay.
So, thank you for that.
And so that can be done this summer or
That's right.
spring, summer?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let Vic know about that.
Depends on how quick we get the information back.
Sure.
Let's see. Let's see, also, I believe it's Luke in here talking about X, 254 to 262, X 278 to 286 road. Matt and I drove those also. To me, the roads are in good condition, look fine, except for one spot about 50 foot long, it's kind of been buried up on, close to 286 on that road.
The question was, they shouldn't be minimum maintenance roads. They don't have gravel on them, do they?
No, there's kind of light, you can see some rock in it, but it's not like it's been gravel.
Like I said, I think some of these we're gonna have to revisit and look at and see, because he was mentioning that was the only direct route between, 9 and 16, is that what he was saying?
Right, but it's been that for,
No, that's what I'm saying, forever, I don't know.
No,
well, I mean, you haven't been graveling it,
no,
and it's not a,
to me, it's gonna get the same attention with the minimum maintenance road.
did it have a sign up prior to this?
I couldn't think of it. Should have had either a dirt or minimum maintenance.
Well, okay, so since we're bringing this up, how did we go about checking to make sure the roads that were on the minimum maintenance list were minimum maintenance roads?
All I can tell you is,
Because I think that when we started this process, clear back last summer, that we asked that it was, that these roads were verified, is what we had asked.
Minimum maintenance and
How did we verify these?
we should wait or so we went out checking.
Well, Wade, when did Wade leave?
April.
Yeah. So
He was working on
he
this.
was working on the list, yes, so.
But they've been putting up signs all
What I'm
summer.
saying is, Christie, we got a call this week from Riley's.
I've got,
You got the same
I got
call.
all this paperwork too.
That was on, so their road is currently on the minimum maintenance list we just published and passed, right?
Yes.
So how were the roads verified is what my question is.
Right here.
Yep. I thought that, you know, to verify the roads and make sure that they are minimum maintenance, and this didn't happen because I don't like to have egg on my face when we pass something like this, that somebody's already paid to
Yeah,
have the road maintained and it's still on the minimum maintenance list. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I thought that the road, when we asked the road to be verified, if they were, it wouldn't be sitting down in the office looking at the map, it would be going out and verifying that the roads were actually minimum maintenance roads, not sitting in the office doing that. So,
So just if you drive out the road and you sit there, how do you classify it as minimum?
well, there again, that's the thing, that's
Go
where,
back through.
The statute says, to be clear, when the county commissioners are of the opinion that any road within the county is used only occasionally or is used only by a few individuals, board may commence. So you're, you know, that, besides the fact you have a few individuals using it, I think that points to a very subjective standard on your guys' part. You can add or detract from that, but as long as the first part of that is very few, and again, that's pretty vague too, how many few?
right.
You know,
No, I understand that. But all I'm trying to get across is when we ask to have the roads verified, to me, that's going out and looking at the road. Is there a sign up there now? No, there's no sign up there. Okay, if there wasn't a sign up there, was there ever a sign up there? Did it get put on the list of sign up there? That's what we're trying. We're trying to get things to where everything's on an even keel, everything's uniform. But like I say, if we just sat in the office and looked at the map and said it's a minimum maintenance road, I don't like that. That's the point I'm trying to get across right here. If we ask to have them verified, then, you know, you or Linda or whoever was in the position at the time should have gone out and looked at it and checked it to see if it was to the standard of a minimum maintenance road. That's all I'm saying.
And again, I said, you know, if you go out there to a road and there's no signs, no dirt, no minimum maintenance, then you're going back to 1859 when the county was established to try to dig out information of whether it's a dirt road or minimum maintenance over 1,100 miles.
But there again, so if it's on the list, then at some time, there should have been some action taken, maybe, or maybe
Maybe, I
not.
don't
But
know.
then again, that's gonna go back to your opinion, or whoever was in the position, or Matt, or whoever. If it's got grass growing up in the middle of it, then we know that it's probably a minimum maintenance road, right? I mean, theoretically.
So maybe.
But that, I think that's been part of the problem is that, like this, that Luke Cochran's talking about, may have a speck or two of gravel in it. He says it shouldn't be a minimum maintenance road, but he doesn't, it's not up to him to determine that.
I agree, I'm
And
not
so,
arguing that.
even if they go out and look at it, there's no sign up, if we don't have a resolution somewhere or past minutes or something that determines that that was made a minimum maintenance road at some point, then it's up to us to determine.
That's exactly right. There again, if we would have had a list of roads that you said, hey, you guys maybe want to go out and take a look at these or whatever, you know, these I know definitely are minimum maintenance, but if it's up to the county commission to make the determination, then we should have had the opportunity before we publish this list to say, yeah, that is, that isn't, and be done with it.
All right, so we did something that's almost a year ago, that list.
Right.
But I thought the whole reason was to get away from dirt roads, so
It was.
to come in and say,
It was.
these are minimum maintenance roads now.
And yes, to try to get everything under the same standard.
Right.
And now we need to come up with the standard of how we're going to be maintaining those roads from here on out.
Right.
So that's another conversation, but like I said, I
But
like
we
that.
have- It's in that book of how to maintain your road, is the matter of getting.
How many times a year are we gonna hit it, so on and so
Okay.
forth. That's
Just
what
get-
we need to
just get
determine.
that. Just get to that.
Yep.
Just to get something down for a schedule.
And that's what we need to
How often
determine.
you're gonna get it.
So,
But as far as the standard to maintain the road, we have that.
yes, and that's what I said, I agree with that, that's what I've been telling everybody. We have the standard in the book, this is how we're supposed to maintain them when we make the road. Now we need to come up with an idea of how often we're gonna do it, so on and so forth.
Right.
Okay, that's all I'm saying there.
Yeah.
But, so now we're gonna have to rescind, or take this off, and what, do we have to republish it, or how do we get
Why would we
around
do
it?
that?
You sure you don't need to start over?
Well, that,
Why,
no,
why
no,
do we
no,
have to do that?
everything that you've done is declared in that last resolution is in. So what you would do now is you would take the ones that you removed or new ones you want and just put them in a stack and say, okay, let's do whatever we're gonna do as far as investigating those. And then if you wanna do another resolution, then you do it about those,
Okay, so the one where they have the documentation, you have the documentation for Riley's that shows, okay, so all we have to do is rescind that one or take it off the list, that's what I say, how do we go about getting that done?
All I have to do is tell Kate to add that little mark on the map.
It's not a full mile, it's just.
Yeah,
a-
just a mark.
2/10 of a mile.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm trying to get rid of, I don't know, so that's what I'm
Yeah, so
asking.
they basically go to Kate up there and say, just like this right here, these were changes for 2023 that went in and made changes to here, the map. Sorry. This is map.
Okay. Okay,
That's something we need to talk about too, while we're all talking. Is this, 190,
Yep.
it shows a graph.
yeah, I did, that's what I said, it always has. It is all, on every map I've looked at, for about 1954. From 1954 on, it shows gravel, so that was the latest, or the oldest map that I found.
So, anytime somebody does a road extension, whatever distance that is that noted now out of Road Bridge? So, the only one I'm familiar with is down on T Road.
Well, we did the one on D Road too, out there, I think, 254, a couple years ago, where they built a house, or were gonna build a house.
So
Extend that.
once you do that, then you note that somewhere so that anybody in the future can go back and look and go, oh, okay, this goes clear up to this point now.
Yes, it should all be in the minutes and.
Right, but
Wherever we do that.
Right, but out at Road and Bridge, do you have a way of, every time a road extension goes in, you update a map and
The
documentation?
map is with Kate. Whenever
You don't keep one out there so that your blade operator?
We can't change the maps.
No, I think you missed the point though.
I know, I do, like I said, we make notes and give it to Kate and them, and then they update the map, they're actually, they send them off, to whoever they have to them, they send them the maps.
Once a year.
Send them back to PDF.
Sure.
They're working on road maps right now,
Okay,
so.
so that way you'll have a current for 25, you'll have a current updated map of all road extensions and what.
Right.
Okay, that is.
Just like, these updates should have been on there last year, and what I gave her the other day should be going on there for this coming. So we are keeping in contact with them, that, that control the maps and things like that.
Like you have a file or
That's what I was gonna ask, you don't
anything
have a file out there that,
I would have
somebody
to
can go
look.
to
I-
and research them all at one
I
time?
would, I'd have to look.
I would think there would be a file somewhere,
And there
where if
probably
you
is.
did have a road extension, that you would have it in the file, we extended from A to B in 1999, so, yeah.
Probably under an individual's name.
Like that's where this should be every time something.
Yeah, that list should be updated every time we have an extension.
Well, we just did get it, we got what we call the R drive, which is a shared file that's up here on the computer system. So we just got that set up here recently, where we can start going in and sharing files. Stuff like that, I don't know if Wade did that, Linda did that, who did that, we can't get to it. Because people leave, they don't have passwords, things like that. So we are trying to get a system going to where things are in there that's shared, that we can have access to.
Something like this, I would think would be a paper copy in a file out there
Yeah, maybe.
that you could pull out.
I don't do the filing, you know, that was Linda, and
These roads that exist now and have
Yes.
been open, they haven't been treated in any way, and there was somebody
They
coming
haven't
along
had
and
gravel.
built- Okay, because, you know, that would be my start, would be when was the road open, and, you know, some of these places may not have anything.
Well, so that's a good point. Let's talk about the other gentleman that was sitting back here that came up first. before
Vic Eubanks, yep.
What's his name?
Victor Eubanks.
Victor, thank you. That road, I mean, he says there's a house there,
There was-
but it
that's-
is not a house.
That
They tore
road
it
is a
down.
house, there was a house there, half a mile back to the east from the corner. That was his family place, that's where he grew up.
Right, so what I was gonna say is from that house on should be where the sign would be, not at the beginning of the road, because,
well, you get people that, just like your, 190 road down here.
Uh-huh.
You got gravel on one end, you got gravel on the other end. You put the sign up here where the gravel ends, then you've got these folks that live here having cars right up there in the middle of the night and then see what's been the maintenance, so they're turning around their driveways and all that.
yeah, I see where
So-
you're going. We did that
They'd
down
rather
the
have it
county
at the
line.
intersection
Yeah.
instead of way up there. That way you don't get those people. right
With the
there.
understanding, if it's at the stop sign, with the understanding that it's minimum maintenance past the end of the gravel, as long as we always know that.
Well, that's
Back
why
in
we
the-
put the sign up at the corner of that road.
Right.
There's actually two signs there, there's one at the corner and there's one past their driveway.
That's all.
So,
Yeah,
so the gentleman out here, even though if we'd been maintaining his road up to that house in the 70s, 80s, 90s, when it was, being lived in, that standard shouldn't go away once the house was torn down.
This gravel road is still be a gravel road.
Correct.
yeah, and that's what he was asking about and trying to figure out is when it became a dirt road, when it became a minimum maintenance road, because up until the time that the house was torn down, we were living out there still in, that was in the early 90s when the meth was going on and they had that
Yeah,
standoff
he
and all that good
mentioned
stuff.
that.
Yeah,
When he was in here.
that was in the early 90s.
He mentioned that.
And you wanna go back to 190th, that road was a road, according to all the maps that I checked out, that I looked at before we purchased the property in '07. And the reason I know it was a gravel road is because the state used it as an official detour. It was put on the minimum maintenance road for whatever reason back in the, I wanna say like 95 is what I found out. It was put on the minimum maintenance list. Okay, resolution passed, full 9 yards, that's great. The state came in when they replaced the culvert on 16, closed 16, Denison had no access. And that's another point for that road, that's the only direct access to Denison if 16 is closed. Only direct access. They came in, widened it to the point, extent that they could, ditched it, rocked it, the whole 9 yards. It was a maintained road up until Mr. Dan Barnett, until when he was superintendent. He was apparently going through some minutes and found that it was a minimum maintenance road, went out and took it upon himself, to put up signs, no notification, no anything. And from that point on, it was never touched again, which to me was wrong if it had been upgraded to, which, you know, I mean, but there again, you look at all the maps and it never was taken off any of the maps as a minimum maintenance road, it was only shown as a gravel road. So, my main contention on that, and from talking to my constituents in Denison, that is the only direct route to Denison. if anything happens on 16, a lot of them will take that route anyway, coming out 75.
Doesn't it?
So, yeah. So that was my point of being, of listening to them on that. So we'll discuss that and
Like I said,
figure out what we're gonna do on it.
You guys just tell me what you want done, because like I said, the map shows gravel.
Yeah,
I was always told minimum maintenance, so. I don't know where I was told.
yeah. So we'll work that out, figure that out.
Yeah.
But as far as VIX, we need to do some research into there and see when that was taken off. The ones that Luke talked about, I don't know. What's that?
Roger Phillips, he was one of those emails.
Roger Phillips, one of the emails, yes. Who lives out on 190th?
But if, so like the ones that Luke was talking about, if we made the decision to make them minimum maintenance, why are we going back to look at it? The resolution is to change all gravel roads, all dirt roads to minimum maintenance. So why are
We said
going
we do
back?
some research into those four to see when they were, if they were always minimum maintenance or not. We don't know. I don't know what happened 30 years ago. And I don't know why, we said that we would do some research into those and see if we could figure out, see when they were taken off and why they were taken off. Those were the only ones that we were questioned about.
The idea here is that you're never bound technically by what somebody else decided back in the 90s. You guys can sit there and look at any road at any time and say, that's not minimum maintenance for this. So,
Right.
Yeah,
So if an adjustment needs to be made on the gentleman where the house was torn down, then we need to continue to gravel that up to where that driveway was. Because we've done that, we can make that decision.
or you could say that's, because the house is torn down, there's no use to it anymore. If it was used, now it's minimum.
Yeah, if it gets very few vehicles down a year, then, and maybe you take your traffic counter out there and you do a traffic count, determine what kind of traffic's going up and down.
no, do you have anything else, Scott?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Well, we can revisit this later on, as far as minimum maintenance, so.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. Continuing conversation.
We had an incident here, again, this is the old, good old boy, thing that's gone on for years. If our guys are out plowing snow, and they work over 12 hours, does the county pay for their lunch?
I don't know why we would. I mean, they're able to take.
I've never heard of such thing, but
That's what we're running into
Okay,
here.
we went back and researched the last snowstorm, and they all took a half hour lunch.
The guys are not taking their lunch, which we recommend they do take a lunch. And, they didn't take a lunch, and now they want to pay for it. But they won't pay for Tuesday, but not for Monday.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not in favor of that. The handbook states that we allow them lunch,
Right.
that we allow 30 minutes for lunch, right?
Yep.
If they choose not to take it,
that's their.
that's on their end. I mean, there's many times that I worked through lunch and, didn't get paid for it, whatever, and it's, I'll make it up in the end, which I know they'll make it up in the end too.
I'm just curious, I know during elections, you had many people work many more hours than that.
Yeah.
Long days.
The only way you are supposed to look through your lunch, and I have done it with my girls, when we have advanced voting and we're so swamped, we can't get out of the office, I will buy lunch.
But if you have the ability to take a lunch,
And then
there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, no, I'm not in favor of that.
Are they working for the half-hour lunch?
We're supposed to lunch. Supposed to take a lunch. We recommend take a lunch, take a break.
They have the ability to take a half-hour break for
Or
lunch.
paying them though for the time they're working?
we
Yeah.
don't pay for the half hour lunch.
Automatically deducted out.
No, Nobody told them to work through.
Nobody told them to work through their lunch.
Yeah, okay, okay.
They're encouraged to take a break. You need to,
Yeah.
they
Well, I was
need
just
to
saying
roll
that
out of that blade or stand up, stop, take a break. If they're choosing not to do that, that's on
Well,
them.
yeah, this is an HR question, not just sort of my antenna goes up whenever I hear, I'm working in the day. Kind of thing.
Well, then that could happen every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And we've had people who prefer to work through their lunch in the past years and then want to pay for it to pass. I mean,
Yeah, and
We're not gonna
the
do-
directive is that you are not to work for your lunch. Okay, that's all you, so.
It's in the handbook.
Thank you.
Like I said, I just want verification because the old, good old boy, old handshake.
and you mean,
I mean, they thought they did it before?
yes, that's what he means. by that.
It's said before?
Wade had told them years ago that if they worked 12 hours, then they would get paid for their lunch.
I don't know why Wade would ever do, Wade doesn't have the authority to do that. And they should have known better than that.
Yeah, and Wade's no longer here to defend himself, so no, I'm not in favor of that.
Okay. That verification.
Okay.
Christie, you got any budget numbers for me yet? Thank you. And we're still kind of on hold on the 254 bridge, waiting on the line being
The fiber?
really. Matt's been in contact with him just about every day trying to get him.
Is that Giant or who is that?
Price Feed.
Is there any way that we
You guys
can,
moving?
I don't know if I want to.
I don't know if I want to, I don't want to take a chance, but is there any that, you know, if they're holding up progress, is there any other way that we can, force them out there to get it moved? Because
And this is in right
they're
of way,
holding,
right?
they've holding the
Yes.
bridge progress right now.
You guys don't, unless you have a right-of-way resolution / policy that says that, you know, there really isn't much foothold statutorily, meaning, if I wanted that, I would have, you need to pass a right-of-way, you know, program, which I have in some of my cities, which says, you know, you can only put it here, and, you know, if there's conflict, this happens, and in that you could say, if you're directed to move, you don't do it, then we will penalize you. with
Well,
something.
my problem is, they came out and located, correct?
Yes,
And where they located at was nowhere near where the fiber was.
right. they-
And so, out of the goodness of our hearts, we found it and we didn't go, oops, well, it's not where it is, so I'm just gonna keep
Dig
going.
through it.
Yeah, because they wouldn't have been liable, because they were outside the tolerance.
But since out of the goodness of our heart, we said, you know, hey guys, you might wanna come move this because it's in our way and we can't complete the bridge and it's nowhere near your locate. That's where I'm getting at. So now we're at their mercy, waiting on them.
I mean, I think of is hiring a contractor to actually do it.
Where,
I can
if
move it.
you've been in contact with somebody on the phone directly,
Matt.
Matt has been talking to them. I think you should reach out to them and say, you have to the end of the week to move on this, otherwise we're gonna hire a contractor and we'll bill you for that.
Because
That would be my
Yeah,
suggestion.
I would like to, I mean, I would like to kick it up a little bit and say, you know, county councilor, if you contact whomever.
And yeah, I mean, if you want to contact them, that's great, because we gotta get moving on this thing. We've been sitting dead for how long?
Back for Christmas.
Yeah,
All right.
so yeah, I would recommend that you, contact them, get with Scott, get the contact
I'll
information.
get that information.
Okay,
All right, some of the things we had in the past here, the extent or entrance on X four to 3.6, that's still not done, the ditching at 162, and Q is still not done, the road closure sign at W178 did get put up, so that's done. Fuel barrels for the graders are all where they need to be now. We're still waiting on them to put the pumps and stuff on the one in Boyd down here, the two in Boyd. The mulching still going on, the 94 to 106 106 on I Road got done. He's on 106 I to H now, almost from there. Truck drivers or dump truck drivers are gonna start stockpiling here when it warms up a little bit, get some rock all back in here.
How are the quarries looking? Are they
They're
crushing?
down here at Soldier, they're talking about probably mid-February, before they start crushing.
Okay.
Stopped in the other day. They got a lot of equipment out there. Today, some of the guys are putting up mailboxes. We had an electrical problem with Becky's truck. We got that fixed. They got 8 services done last week and, put a window in on the grader. That's kind of where we're at. Just,
Couple of questions whenever you're ready.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, let's dive in on 12th Blade minimum maintenance roads. We talked about that in the past 4 years. I would like to revisit that, have a conversation about using that 12th Blade during the months that we can get out, get on them, and have somebody doing that in the entire district. That way our blade operators aren't having to come off their roads, the gravel portion of their roads to do anything. This guy, to me, it's not any different than we rotate the mowers around the county. You know, if you have a guy who has less skill set than our normal blade operators, they can still go in and clean some ditches a little bit, knock the grass down. I just think it's something we've got to look at.
We talked about this last year, you know.
And I know some of the hesitation was that the blade operators themselves didn't want somebody messing with their minimum maintenance rates. Well, they don't technically belong to them. And I know they take pride in their work, some of our guys do. But this is a management decision, and if we can be more efficient and get these roads up into shape faster, then I think it's something we've got to take a look at.
And I do agree, because these, a lot of the minimum maintenance roads around the county have been neglected for so long that, you know, and same with our gravel roads, you know, that we've been working on, that we've talked about, that we've got to do something to get them back up to where they're in a passable, maintainable condition.
Because they make them sound like the minimum maintenance don't get touched.
Yeah.
I mean.
And
And
that's
a lot
what it
of
was,
it.
that's what it was years ago.
Yeah.
They didn't get touched.
And so we've got a lot that need to be redone. And that doesn't mean during the hot dry months when we shouldn't probably be blading gravel roads, they can't be out working on those in conjunction with the 12th blade. But Linda, I'm just curious what you think about the 12th blade and doing something like that.
I mean, I don't necessarily know, it sounds good, but yet it seems to me like the person who's in that area should be taking care of the minimum maintenance road too. But, you know, whatever's gonna take care of it, if it takes a 12th grader, I would go for it. I mean, something needs to happen,
Well, we
because there's too much
haven't-
conversation about them not being touched.
Right.
Yeah.
And the 12th blade does come in handy because there are times where guys get behind and we send the 12th blade there, or we have a blade down, so we use that 12th in its place.
And that's still, you can still have that flexibility to do that,
Right.
but I think
Right now
it's,
it's manpower. Right now it's manpower.
but you would pull somebody out of Matt's crew.
If we're not using them. I mean, if you're on a project and you've got everybody spoken for, I would like to, we can get somebody in there in the mowing, you know, and, maybe use that person around here and there. Because like I said, there will be times in the dry season where you shouldn't be playing. You know?
Yeah, I think this is
Like I said,
something.
this is something we gotta,
And that's,
See if we can come up with a plan on that and get a,
and that leads right into my next topic is GPS. In my opinion, as one commissioner, I believe getting it on the blades as soon as possible is important, because then we have data showing, when somebody says, nobody's been down this road in the last 6 months or 3 years, we can prove we have data showing that that that's been done. And so the sooner we can get that done, so I need to know, I guess, as a commissioner, where we're at on this project. And I know it lies with the two of you at this point.
I'm, you know, when we talked to, the gentleman down there at the convention, and he said, I'll get you the information, it shouldn't be any more than a couple months, we'll have all the software done, it shouldn't be good. I'll get you, he said, I'll email you next week and let you know for sure. I've not heard a thing from him. Have you?
I've heard, I've had a couple calls with him, and he said he's gonna be on their engineering staff to get moving on it more.
And
But
the reason being that we talked about the GPS for the accountability part of it, for the protection of the operators part of it, and for the time-saving part of it for administration out there. And that was the biggest key right there, was the time saving for the administration, for the administrative system out there. If I don't see that,
I don't know that it was the biggest key, but it is a big part of it. To me, the biggest part of it is knowing where the blades are and whether they're working or not.
but here's what we had, when we talked about the GPS, we talked about not only the accountability and the protection for the operators and the protection for the county, saying, you know, yeah, this went down here last week, I don't know where you were, but the blade went down. But with the cost saving part of it, we're putting out the money, the cost saving part of it was going to be the accounting software that was going to be in. So if we purchase this and 6 months from now, they say, yeah, well, guess what, we decided we can't really do that, then where are we sitting at?
Yeah, so
that's-
we need a drop dead date. I would like a drop dead date. If they can't provide the service, we'll move on. And we'll find somebody who can provide the service.
Yeah,
But every week that we kick the can down the road, we don't get GPS on these graders. And I believe the majority of the people in this community believe that it would be beneficial because now they have real data. We know whether the blade's down, we know what RPM, we know what speed, we know where they are at any given time. I'm not as worried about the dump trucks at this point in time, but I am the blades.
yep, and I am too, so we need to get on them and tell them, you know, if you can't give us some hard facts and make sure,
Now, have him here at our next meeting.
yeah, that's
So
great.
if they wanna sell it, you'd think they'd be here.
You guys don't have a contract with them or anything?
No.
No, they just got the test units on right now, still.
Okay.
They've been here for 6 months.
And why wouldn't we do everything and not just blades?
Everything,
I
because of the initial cost of it.
I would do the dump trucks
But-
and blades.
I'm fine with doing that,
I'm
but,
just curious.
but the blades are the biggest thing. Blades are what we have the most problem with
So-
in location.
So do the blade guys know how many miles they have and how much they need to get done
They have their-
approximately?
they
We
have
and-
don't, we don't
Together.
require a mileage that they have to get done per day, correct? No. Because if they see a problem, we want them to fix it, so we don't say, by God, you're gonna do 10 miles a day and that's
Right,
it.
but approximately?
I don't really believe there's an approximately.
Okay, I was just curious.
They know what their district
Operator
entails.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, up to 11.
Okay.
So this is this guy's area,
Okay,
okay? And he knows which is gravel roads, which are FAS routes, which are
Secondaries, mains.
and so like the minimum maintenance roads, have they been told how often to go down them or?
in the past, it's been hit them in the spring before people put their animals out and plant. And in the fall, whenever they bring crops out and back in. That's what's been in the past, 2 to 3 times.
And that's, when, to get back to the problem, why we went to the, everything is minimum maintenance road now, is because there was a gentleman's agreement long ago that dirt roads would be done so often and minimum maintenance this often and, yeah.
And gentlemen's agreement meeting, road and bridge guys just all went, hey, how often do we want to do
Yeah.
this?
Right.
What we're requiring is, in accordance with the standards, something in writing that says this is how often you will do it. But yeah, they know their areas, they know when they're supposed to do it. The only reason I throw an emphasis, Linda, on the blades, if we can't afford to do all the dump trucks at this time, is because the blades are the ones that we get the most. I don't know that I've ever gotten a complaint on a dump truck. Dump truck didn't come down here and dump gravel, but it's always there hasn't been a blade past my house in 3 months. Or this road hasn't been bladed in 2 years. Those are the complaints we hear. And so with this software, you and I and Mark, we will have access to be able to see what's going on at any given time through our computer. We can't change anything, they're gonna have the administrative portion of it, but we can see where the blades have gone, we can see the history. So when somebody does call, we can answer a question. He can print it out at Road and Bridge, those types of things. If we can afford to do the dump trucks, I'm fine with that.
Well, the quote that they gave us was for dump trucks and.
Yeah, I know.
I think the blade's gonna be a little higher, because I don't think they had that.
The sensor for the blade.
That's
Yeah.
true. Let's go pull that up.
Was that kind of budgeted for at all or not?
It was. And initially, we were gonna try to get it in before the first of the year, because there were some incentives to purchase by the end of the year, and they didn't get the information back to us, so therefore that one didn't go through.
Do we know of anybody else that has this GPS at this same company?
A lot of people have GPS, there's none really that have multiple lane. Because they started off just as a GPS, okay? And I told them, I said, the only way I'm gonna get behind it is if we save time and money, which out here, Road and Bridge, we get time cards from the guys, every guy turns one in. And sometimes they're 2 weeks behind, sometimes a month behind, but they get it turned in. Well, they spend 3 to 4 hours a day out there typing data. So I said, if we could go in, figure out a system that will talk to our STAR program that we use now, and we've got years and years of data in. If they could get their system to talk to our system, where the guy would be out there instead of handwriting this out, he'd type it in on the tablet.
And just put his
Hit
information
send.
in.
He's doing it anyway.
Right.
It hits send, and then it download to that system. It still have to probably look at it and say approve or not approve, that type of thing.
So they're gonna put their time in on this thing?
They're gonna record the number out.
Not their time, but they call it a time card, it's a work card, yes.
Yeah.
But so-and-so, I went down to this quarry and picked up inch and a quarter rock and I hauled it to this road. That's the information that is.
And for the blades, it's, I ran from 142 to 134, and I ran from S to X.
And it took me 2 hours, and this one took me 3 hours. So that all gets in. So if their system can talk to STAR program, that's what I'm wanting.
And that's where in December, when I talked to the gentleman at the convention, and he said, I'll get you the information, or, within 2 months, we can get it, so on and so forth. Well, it's been that long, I haven't heard nothing. So if you could get him here, or get him on the phone for the next meeting, it would be appreciated. That way we could talk to him and see what the heck's going on, and get you on there. Anybody got anything else for Scott? Scott, you have anything?
I'm good.
Oh, that one account that I asked you guys to do the, credit deal for, you guys get that name? Maybe it was basketball for you.
Aaron was.
Check with it.
That's all I got.
All right.
Thanks, Scott.
Did you want to do that? Is that your copies are out there? All right, thank you. A lot of good information, good discussion. Thanks, guys. All right.
We're having our meeting tomorrow, we're hopefully, tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and then we are, announcing then that on February 25th, we'll be doing our defensive driving class and, flagging class. K-Works.
What time's meeting?
So tomorrow or
Tomorrow morning?
at 7 a.m.
7?
So what is the monthly meeting involved, and who?
It's normally all the workers come in, we talk about, projects we're on, what we're doing, how things are coming along, and safety.
And it's something that they started when Wade took over, just to push information and get information from the employees, because they may know something that, and so it's just a way of opening up conversation about future projects that they're working on, just good communication.
I believe the insurance people want us to have a public safety meeting anyway, don't they? Just knock that out.
So you wanna go?
Just asking.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna
How many do
go,
you usually go?
well, we usually try to have one person out there.
Yeah.
And there was a resolution just done not long ago about being able to be recorded if one of you was there.
I didn't think it was if one of us were there. If it was if two of us are there, that
It's a
becomes a
meeting.
quorum.
Quorum and meeting.
Yeah, but if one of us is there,
I thought that even one, that's why Dan was coming.
I don't think that was the trigger, because we looked that up, see.
One of
And
you,
then-
one of you came in the commissioner's capacity, then there's two people.
That was
Only if it's, I thought it
it was
believe-
two, that'd be a quorum.
Yeah.
That would be an official meeting, and we'd have to have
Christie.
Christie out there too.
I don't have it here with me.
Yeah.
So
Work
we'll have to
sessions,
look at
We'll
work
wait till
sessions.
next month and see.
Work sessions, so, are not, they're not an
Yeah.
official meeting. So like when I meet typically once a month or every other month, I meet with the management staff. So I go out there, we sit and go over different things, everybody gives kind of a report, and we talk about what can I bring back to you guys, on that. So we'll set up a date on that. I have, I'll have to look
Okay, perfect. All right,
at my
thanks,
calendar.
guys.
Thank you.
John, how you doing?
Good, how you guys doing?
Great.
Pardon me. John Wortley, my name.
Working?
Yes,
Yeah.
Wortley. I live at 11591 H Road, over in the district. And
11591.
11591.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And I'd just like to talk to you today about the proposed solar project, Jeffrey Solar Project, because I think it's really hard for people to wrap their heads around the scale of this project. And I'd like to provide you with a regional example of an installation down in southeast Kansas. I've got an aerial picture of it, so you can just get an idea of what the size of this proposed project is.
Okay.
Because they can talk acres and they can talk megawatts generated, but until you see the number of panels and these sorts of things, you really don't have an idea of the scale of this project. So,
I'm gonna interject something here.
Yes.
So, right now, it is out of our hands. It's, okay, so you understand it's in the planning board's hands?
absolutely.
Okay, all right.
And I mean,
And I'll take all the information I can get, so yeah.
when the planning board is done, it comes back to you.
Yes.
And when the
With their
when the
recommendation.
recommendations, and then when the permits or the application process goes through, it comes back to you or the planning board. Is that correct?
Well, there'd be a special use permit that they would request, and would have to go to the
And,
planning commission.
Yeah, we go to the
Yeah.
planning board.
yeah, and I do have a pretty good idea of the scope and the scale.
Okay.
I visited, went to Iowa and
Mhm.
visited a project that is in phase 2, because I wanted to lay eyes on what it looked like.
Sure. How big was it?
Phase 2 was gonna be another 1,000 acres, I think, don't quote me on this. I don't have the
Do you-
numbers,
do
but
you- do
a
you
couple
have any
thousand
idea?
acres.
Do you have any idea of what the generation capacity was?
I don't, it's not in front of me.
Yeah,
It was
I have
big.
my notes.
It was very similar to what has been proposed here.
Okay.
And it, like I said, it was in phase 2 when I went there. So meaning that the first phase, they'd already had arrays up, and so that was why one of the guys drove up and I wanted to drive and lay eyes on it for
Sure.
myself. So it was eye-opening.
I bet. Here, just like to provide you guys.
Thank you.
This is an installation
Thank you.
put up by Evergy Energy Solutions in conjunction with the Monarch Cement Company down in Humboldt, Kansas, down in southeast Kansas. What you see there is 20 megawatts worth of generation on 92 acres. Now, the proposed development is going to be 500 megawatts in southeast Jackson County. That's what the Jeffrey Solar Project is going to be. So it's going to take 25 of these installations to make their goal.
And I'll ask you a question right here.
Yes, sir.
The proposed 500 megawatts, proposed 5,000 acre, okay?
Right?
And what we want to do is limit it to no more than 2,000 acres in Jackson County. So that kind of cuts everything that you're seeing here down, correct?
I mean, it cuts down, okay, so 2,000 acres, technically, if you do the math on that, at 20 megawatts on a little bit less than 100 acres, that's going to be 2,500 acres. So it's right around your $2,000 limit. I mean, pardon me, 2,000 acre limit.
Right.
But if they wanted to expand, there's nothing saying they couldn't get another permit.
Yes, there is.
I mean,
we want
can
to
say
limit
that.
it, yes. We want to limit it to 2,000 acres in the county, no more.
Okay.
Total, not per CB or not per project, but 2,000 acres. And I think that we want to go back, I want to bring that up later as far as looking at that, because I think the language is wrong. I was reading over the language in the regs that you sent over, so.
That is not, I mean, technically that's per permit.
Yeah, and that's not what our intent was. So, but anyway, go ahead, I didn't mean to.
No, that's great. That's good to know that I'm pleased that you want to limit it to 2,000 acres within the county. I still think when you look at this, the first thing in the regulations as they're written right now is the visual impact when considering it. It's what section 2(1)A is the visual impact. And right here you have 20 megawatts of generation on 92 acres. So there's still plenty of generation that can be done in 2,000 acres, but the visual impact is pretty substantial, would you say? I mean,
Sure.
so just something to consider.
Okay.
And other than that, if you have any questions for me.
I think so.
I can't think of anything. Are you going to provide this to the planning commission also? at your public meeting? Or attach this to the, we do have a form.
I filled some out. So
Okay, and did you attach this to the form?
I did not attach this to the form because this was separate in the form. The way it was written, it seemed to be asking about certain sections of the
Okay.
regulations, so I limited my comments to that.
Would it be okay if I shared this with the
So I brought
commission
this
after
to the
they got
last,
it?
I brought this to the last couple of meetings, and we haven't been given an opportunity to speak in regards to the
That's a
project.
good work session.
I know the work session, but I was at the general meeting before, and this wasn't brought up, and that's fine. We weren't ready to talk about it.
Right.
So, but I mean, yes, I plan to provide this to the planning commission.
Okay, perfect.
But if you would like to, you're more than welcome to as well.
Okay.
And I'll bring this and I can attach it to one of the feedback forms
Okay.
as well.
Perfect.
All right?
All right, so I can't think of anything else. Thank you for the information. I certainly appreciate it.
Yes.
Thanks, sir.
All right.
You want a copy of that?
I have some more copies if you would like.
She can make her,
Take
yeah,
two more, you
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
save paper,
Yeah, it's already printed up.
Save
that's
time.
right, save time.
All right,
Thank
here
you.
you go.
Waste
Yeah,
more
we're done.
copies anyway. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you guys.
Okay,
Kate, did you have something?
I forwarded you all some emails, or maybe you received another email from Delbert.
I got one.
I got one, did you forward it to the commissioners or to us individual?
Well, the Delbert's is not, I haven't forwarded anything, did he talk to you?
I haven't talked to him, I mean, the only thing he sent me an email and I responded to it, to his questions.
So,
But what I'm saying is, what you forwarded it, was it to the commissioners?
The ones, yeah.
The Henderson one? Yeah, I got
Yeah. I got that on commissioners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Which I'm sorry to see that, a lot of the things that it,
And do you have any indication why? I mean, I'm reading the one that says, let me know if you have any questions. He says he's level-headed. He didn't give any indication.
Well, just in that letter.
in the letter.
Yeah.
If you read the letter, if you read the letter,
So.
did you see it? I mean, have you found it?
I have not.
Here, I'll
Did
forward
you,
it to you
did you
guys.
move it somewhere? It's in the inbox.
I'll forward it to you.
So click right there. Right there.
Oh, I'm sorry. You sent the
You got
letter in an attachment. I'm sorry. I thought this was an email
Okay.
from
Right,
him.
it's in there.
Okay.
Read that.
I felt like, damn.
Oh, gee. Yeah, I might be that way, watch it.
Yeah, if you take a quick second to read it.
Yeah.
I just have some of the things that were in there, I'm not quite sure.
Delbert resigned as well.
In,
I haven't forwarded that email to you because I asked him if he wanted to, do a formal letter. I was waiting on it.
are there any more on there who are not meeting their obligations?
What-
As far as attendance?
I mean, if you look at the attendance, it says unexcused. So, I mean, it just depends on what you consider
Okay.
unacceptable or not, so.
All right.
Yeah, I guess in skimming over this letter, I'm surprised that if he feels so passionate about this, the template or the draft that they have, their board has the choice to either take it up or not take it up. And if they don't choose to pass it, that's great, perfect, rock on.
Yeah.
Why do they not see, I mean, it is now in their hands to take up. They can either choose to fine tune it, they can choose to not do anything with it. That's up to them. Has that been explained to them?
Would you like me to explain further to them that it is now up to them?
I would, because it appears, in the two emails that I've gotten, it appears they don't understand their responsibility. It has nothing to do with us. We created a document that is simply a draft, which was there to save them time. Now that it has gone to them, they're not required in any way, shape, or form.
Specifically which one?
Pardon me?
We're talking about the graveyard or the?
Solar.
Yeah. They could tear that.
Either one, I mean,
They
actually.
could delete everything after the resolution and
Start
Start
over.
over. Start
They don't
over.
even have to take it up.
I don't know if they're required to take it up at all, except for whatever
Right.
duty they think they have to.
We have fulfilled, I believe, an obligation of saving them time in meetings by giving them a draft. If they don't like the draft, if they don't want to use the draft, they don't have to use it. It was simply to help them move along in this process.
And
If
save
they
the
don't-
county money.
If they don't want to, if they don't want to move this process ahead, that's well within that board's right.
Yeah, they could, yeah, if there is a number
So-
of members who don't want any solar,
Yeah.
say, we're not gonna pass any.
And so if any solar company comes to your office and says, I want to apply for a special use permit, what happens?
You don't allow.
Right? They would have to take that up with the zoning and planning board and say, are you going to take this up? If they choose not to, I don't have the authority to tell them to.
Yeah, the answer is, there's mechanism for them to get a special use permit.
Correct.
There's no special use permit format.
That is correct.
So they could say, well, we fit within industrial guidelines, maybe, I don't know, you know, it's an industrial zone, and we want to change the zone to industrial. Can they do that? Could they work it that way? I don't know. They probably couldn't mechanically, so I think it's dead at that, so.
I think if they did that, if they didn't take it up and they had no regulations at all, and they went to the planning commission and just said, we want to change this ag land to industrial to put up solar. I think personally, that would be the worst mistake that the planning commission could make, zoning planning could make, by not having regulations, because then any of the safeguards that we have tried to
They wouldn't have to,
install.
they wouldn't have to rezone it either.
No, they would, but if they did rezone it, if they said, sure, you know, get it out of ag land, put it in industrial, if they did
Again,
rezone that,
That's a decision they
that's
get
a
to make.
decision, but that's what I'm saying, I think that would be a disservice to the county, because then the regulations and the safeguards that we have tried to put in place with the regulations that we gave to them.
You would
Put it on.
agree, those regulations that we gave are simply a draft.
Yep, yep.
So I'm not sure of these emails, where they're getting their information and how they're deducing that this is a done deal.
Yeah,
Makes no
I
sense
don't,
to
I don't
me.
understand that.
And maybe that's, I mean, I could send something to them and just, we haven't had a chance to coordinate a meeting because of my schedule and everything, and that's probably my fault more than anything, but, I mean, that's.
I would
if you
encourage-
say that,
Yeah, I guess, Kate, from your standpoint, maybe, I would go back and reach out to both these through the phone and say, you know, look, I would encourage them not to resign and explain what their responsibility is. Maybe they're not, maybe they don't understand what their authority and responsibility they have. Because I would think this guy would want to stay on there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It makes no sense
yeah.
that he wouldn't want to stay on there.
Yeah.
So that would be my suggestion. And I said the same, I said that to Delbert in an email. Delbert, you should stay on there. But if he doesn't want to, I'm not gonna force him to, we'll fill the position.
Yep.
I mean, that's the idea that, I mean, there is, if you can't get a number of people who just say, I mean, it's perfectly legitimate for them to say, we're not doing it at all. If you can't get a number of people behind that, and the majority want to develop this, then yeah, they can't, you know, once you go into the zone, if we're working on something, and we're not gonna just drop it, then maybe that's, they may be frustrated, but that's how this works. I mean, the majority determines how they're gonna go. And I'm just trying to say that if there is a majority of folks who just wanna say, we're not doing this.
That's up to them.
That's what I think.
But if there's a majority who wants to, well, these are, this is a good start, but, or maybe not even a good start, we're writing it all from scratch.
And it disappoints me that a couple of board members would look at this as a one-issue thing. Being a board member on that board encompasses a whole lot more than just one issue. We need competent people who are willing to be at the meetings, know the information for things, like private cemeteries, or rezoning something else, or if another industry comes in here. And to make this a one-issue thing seems very short-sighted on their part.
The thing I'm thinking of here is that if I'm against it, and I can't convince everybody else that I'm right, and then I wanna be there to make sure whatever comes out of that thing
Right.
is as good as it can be to protect people. And that's, I don't understand that
So,
mentality.
Yeah, I don't,
yeah.
but whatever. So, thoughts? I see the wheels spinning.
Yeah, so considering the legal environment that we're currently in,
Being sued by people who are throwing out,
you want,
Yeah.
do you want me to give them advice on how to,
Or I have no problem putting that in a, if we just need to get it out, I can put it in a letter to him, just saying exactly what we said here. Would that do it? Okay,
It would.
all right.
Okay, great. I'll handle it. All right.
Do you have anything else for me?
I don't think so.
Okay. The minimum maintenance, I'm sorry, the minimum maintenance road list,
Yes.
It's still in discussion.
okay.
Well, the one that's currently, that we passed, you can move ahead with it, but we have a few roads that we're taking off that for future.
So
I have not given her a copy of the resolution yet, but I can now.
the planning commission will have something, for the March meeting that will be a public hearing. Does this need to be a public hearing thing? Where they approve or agree with that resolution, however it needs to be.
That resolution doesn't go to them.
For the minimum maintenance roads, no.
Something about an agreement, they have to agree, or that they've approved it, or what?
Not on the minimum maintenance.
There's a statute out there.
Hold on.
Not that we were, I was aware of. We'll let Todd do some research.
There was another
Will you
one.
transmit copies of the resolution to the planning commission? Well, County, that's the way it reads wrong.
So there was another one, that was discovered here this weekend on 182nd Road.
That should be or
Could
shouldn't
possibly not be a road at all, or a minimum maintenance. One of the two.
So if something needs to be added,
Or.
Sounds like
the-
research.
Yeah, and I gave it to Scott,
Perfect.
R4 to S, in between R4 and S. It appears on our map, we still have the right of way because it hasn't been vacated.
101.
It's R4 to S.
182nd.
182nd, R4 yes, yeah.
Yeah. The map, it doesn't even show a road, that some of those minimum maintenance roads can not show up as a road at all.
So it may be a road that we need to, by resolution, close, not vacate.
I mean, I don't know if it has been closed or not, but on our map, it's showing gravel, and that's obviously not correct, so. He's gonna look at that, whether it needs to be a minimum maintenance or not, that would be a question.
Okay.
And I don't know if that would need to be added to a list or resolved somehow, but.
All right.
Well, the statute says that when you make the determination that they are declared minimum maintenance roads, the board shall adopt a resolution and transmit copies thereof to the planning commission of the county for its recommendation. So all you have, and that doesn't say that they have approval power. I think that, to my mind, would be that the planning commission could recommend additions like we have right now, if there's things you've missed. I don't read that as saying it has the ability to vote up or down.
Yeah, I just did because they provided a copy.
Yeah, and they can come back and say, you know, you ought to add these things out.
Okay.
So I would just give them a copy of that resolution and the list of the roads, and
Yeah.
that's it, they don't need to take action on anything.
No action, you can just
Per
say,
statute, we're required to give you this list.
yeah. That,
Easy enough?
Yeah.
Probably, I would assume that part of the reason would be for their future planning, if somebody comes in and says, I wanna
That would be.
build here, they
that'd be the
would,
only thing I can
they-
think
they
of.
would
Solve
have
that list.
current information on roads that are currently gravel,
Yeah.
whether it would withstand
Yeah.
that kind of traffic, that type of thing.
There needs to be some sort of road agreement to gravel it to be that
Yep.
county standards that. Okay.
yep.
All right,
All right,
thank you.
thank you.
All right.
Let's take a 5-minute recess.
Thank you. Dan, how are you?
I'm good,
What's up, Mike?
How are y'all?
Great.
Commissioners? Todd?
How you doing?
I know the chief looked good yesterday.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, the whole, dealing with dump trucks. and stuff, we just never had any. Because these guys are running together.
Okay, maybe not right.
They're typically.
Slow down.
Pablo.
And I wouldn't mind having.
I'm just thinking that sort of radar operators are trying to remember the secret route.
They are.
I know, but I just.
In a good way.
I just mean,
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
either
I.
kind of keep peace and keep it.
We got one guy that disabled on a dump truck.
Oh, is it?
Within minutes of calling the dump truck. And so if that happens again, so if that happens again, be terminated.
Right.
Jeff County has had GPS on their blades, I don't know about their dump trucks, but in their blades, they've had for years. The side benefit is being able to, they each have an iPad, they can just put in the miles and that information and share it with,
Right.
which will save many, many
Right.
man hours and not being.
Which is what they tell me they have, what Mary's out there full-time right now.
Just, yeah, on a part-time basis, but every day, you know.
Yeah.
But because so much of that was not, when Linda was there was no problem, she kept it up to date. And then it got behind, and now they're playing catch up. So the goal is to have Mary help get caught up. And if we do this, again, technology helps keep from having to hire an employee.
True.
And that's what we did when we
Should be a good deal.
bought the Eagle View software for Kay's office. And $30,000 is way cheaper than hiring an employee,
Right.
and it's more efficient. And it kept people from getting bit, and going out, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of fun. And if we get new employees,
No, that's just it, right.
we got the guys that are
Right.
challenged.
I got you. Understand.
Hey, how are you?
We need blankets too for football.
I am cold.
Blankets.
My feet are cold.
It's hot in here.
I think that's just about right now.
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
I'm all right, yourself, sir.
Stay here.
Because I was gonna be. She needs to get home.
Sent you an email with this. That's your email. Just give the man an email so he quit trying
Okay.
He just said, yeah, is it? I don't know.
I got the, form signed Friday.
On all of them, or just,
How's your wife doing?
okay.
Good days, bad days.
So is she able to work?
Yeah. She's not even driving.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah. Another ologist appointment next week. I took her to one last week. About 6 of them. Hopefully try to figure out where they're going. Thanks for asking, I appreciate it.
Oh, sure.
And to add that in, my mom's not well either. So.
Oh,
Is she still in the hospital?
No, she's out, but she doesn't know most of the time, and she's lethargic a lot. But she goes to the doctor twice a week for various things. And it's just at the point that we're making her comfortable. Home health's coming in, hospice not yet, but we're dealing with it. I just want to make sure she's comfortable and not in pain.
right. Makes it right.
She's picking weight back up because we've made some adjustments, it's always something. It is. It's a lot to deal with.
All right, we're back in session now. I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for matters of attorney-client privilege, due to possible litigation, with Mr. Cooper. We'll introduce ourselves here a little bit. Mr. Luckman, the clerk, Dan Brenner, and the commissioners.
I move we go into executive session for the purpose of attorney-client privilege in, for possible litigation, to start at, how long did you want?
10:40.
10:40? Start at 10:40, and how long did you want, Mr. Chairman?
Got a recommendation?
23 minutes.
Let's go
Let's
30
do
minutes.
30, okay. So we would return at, let's say, 11:10 to include commissioners, former Commissioner Brenner, clerk, Cooper, and our attorney.
My second motion.
Moved and
Okay, it's
seconded.
been properly moved and seconded.
Hold on, hold it down.
It's been properly moved and seconded to go into to executive session for attorney-client privilege. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, David, thank you very much.
Excuse?
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here's,
Nice to meet you, David.
this has got my email.
Yeah, Keith.
Okay. I don't think they're gonna make it. I don't think they're gonna make it. See y'all. Thank you.
Dan, before you go, you want to stay on the AAA?
Yeah, yes, I never actually resigned, and they remind me of that because they don't want me to leave.
Okay.
And I have a meeting next week. They asked, and I said, sure, because
Does anyone have any objection to Dan staying on the AAA?
I do.
Okay.
I've been engaged with that for a long time, and
I appreciate you,
Sure.
appreciate you wanting to stay on it. It'll help us out a lot.
there's only three, and
So, thank you.
there's only three boards up there, so
All right.
I'm crawling back up. I'm up at four. See ya.
All right, we'll see you later. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, here we have public notice for the pollution, there was pollution discharge, there's one there that Albright is about to give you. Thank you card from Dan. So do we need a motion to keep Dan on, or just
I just.
consensus? Okay, perfect. All right, and I have here, Scott had called me last week. They got a settlement offer from the insurance company on the Stroughton Bridge.
Yeah, just so I can.
$11,713.64, $500 less than what they said. I said, go for it, let's get it settled, get it done.
I would agree.
So he sent that on, so there's that, we'll look at too.
And was this something?
So it's just informational purposes only.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, we have some official minutes from January the 13th, so I'll pass it down. Todd, did you have anything else?
The one thing, you gave me the, Banner Creek, stuff.
Oh, for the
Rental
building?
rates,
What?
the rental
For the
agreement.
Yeah, the rental agreement. Well, I guess I'd just say I looked at it and I would like to recreate all of these.
I'd say there's some discrepancies in here, I kind of think that, I don't think it's quite
And
right.
let me tell you what I've seen in the past. I've got a number of cities have community rooms, you know, that are in it. So I've got a form agreement, that I worked up. So I think there's like 3 things here that we really need, maybe that is what I call the license agreement, which is the use agreement they would sign, is a contract. You would have separate rules that would just be, you know, attached to this is the rules that people follow, like no tape on the walls, that kind of thing. It's not really, you know, needs to be a contractor decides they can change, then they can change how they live it, they don't have to worry about changing the contract, right?
Right.
And then the third one being the alcohol issue, you know, what are they doing? Because I think some of it depends on, you know, they obviously can't sell unless they got a temporary permit. which is fine, you know, that can be just basically, if you get it, I don't know, you guys don't have, do you have a permit, temporary permit, you have to? Don't make a face while
We
you.
don't want them to do that.
Okay. All right, well, I just gotta figure it out. Because I'd rather they do it right than they not, you
Yes, I
know.
am.
they
I mean, like, somebody's gonna rent the building and have a beer garden, and you gotta come out and get the permit, so on. and so
Yeah, well,
forth.
yeah, in each part, you know, there's maybe you have to have a caterers, somebody has a caterers permit.
Yeah,
They come out, their caterers permit, that's fine too. It's just that you can't, and then the question becomes, if you have an event and you bring your own stuff, you don't sell it, kind of what the rules are for that, because you don't need a, you don't need a liquor license to do that. As long as you don't sell it.
I wouldn't think so, I mean, like, beer, I mean,
You can
Yeah.
give it away all you want, but you just
yeah,
can't sell
can't
it.
sell it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, and then, but there's still kind of a question of what kind of things you want going on down there, so that you don't, nothing get that heat, right?
Well, then, yeah, if you're recommending that you rewrite that, I would say go ahead and do it and get that started.
All right.
We'll go from there.
So can I ask a question
Sure.
though? So on this he has a cancellation policy here. Within 60 days of the reservation results with no refund of any rental fee. He has that on just like a standard day, and a wedding is like 30 days. Why is there a difference?
Maybe that should have been 6 days instead of 60 days.
See, he's got
Yeah.
60 days here and 30 days here.
I think probably this is a question of opportunity, there's, yeah, opportunity cost, but people, if there's nothing to it, they'll block off days in the flood zone.
Yeah.
Right, you only got one building, right?
Yes.
So, you know, by keeping that length of time, you know, you're gonna have at least, you know, somebody can be serious about it. So I've seen that in campgrounds, that they just, like Fourth of July, they all have a sign, right? So you, but they're not really serious,
Yeah.
they're just testing. So, but if you're right, I think a wedding, I would think, that would be 60 days if it's any.
Right,
You
it's
don't-
got 30 days on it.
Yeah,
And the other one is just, and the other one's got 60 days.
I would say that would probably be reversed almost, but at least it's
And
60.
you might give Kurt a call and ask him what his reasoning is on that. I don't know. I can't speak for what he was
And
thinking.
then this might be picky too, but I live out there part of the time in the summertime.
Sure.
So it has, grills may be brought in and used, but cannot be placed on the patio or gravel areas only. Is there gravel out? I didn't go out that back door. The patio is right there and stuff, I
No,
understand.
It's just a patio area.
You know, if you're having a reception and something and you've got people coming with their grills to do stuff, you're not gonna want them out front here in the gravel, you're gonna wanna
No.
put it out back somewhere. And that's not gonna allow it. I mean, if there's no
Right.
gravel or anything out there.
And there is no gravel out there, it's just a back patio, but I don't know why, other than grease stains, I mean, that's the only thing.
Yeah, I think it'd be more of a conversation with Kurt if you want.
I know, but that's
Yeah.
in his
That's
regulations.
in there, so yeah.
I mean, that's,
Well, I think, yeah, for that part of it, I'm not gonna be very helpful, so
Right, but I
I would
just
say if
think-
you wanna start like a rules list,
if I'm having a wedding reception or something, I
Yeah.
don't want my girls sitting out front where people's coming in. They're gonna want stuff out back, and there's no
Yeah.
gravel out there.
No,
I mean, I know
It'd be
it's,
my suggestion, you have Kurt come in next week.
Yeah,
Or
talk to him.
Friday morning when we do bills.
yeah.
and
Because like I said, I think probably what he's worried about on there is grease stains,
I
grills,
understand,
and
right.
so on and
You
so
want
forth.
the
Fire,
grass catch on fire, but yet,
Yeah,
it's not, if you're really doing a reception, that's not how you do
Yeah.
it.
okay, so I'm doing the contract, and you guys are doing the rules.
that'll work.
I mean, you supposed to check it off the fair buildings. Is that where this came from?
Well, and even up there, they don't put their grill, so Saturday
Right.
night for the,
Right.
Livestock Association,
Right.
the grill's gonna be out back on the patio, so it'll be
Where it was
On the grass.
convenient to
Yeah.
come in and out.
coming out, so.
Anyway, whatever, that was just something I saw.
That
All
was all
right,
I
so yeah,
had.
so if you wanna work on that, and we'll get the rules straightened out with Kurt, and go from there.
Anything else I need to do for you guys before I head out?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
You guys?
I can't think of anything.
So that's our fire.
Chris, you?
That's our fire report. Charlie,
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much.
you bet.
Yes, please. All right. from the Chamber, one for Saturday, May 24th, Glory Days, Saturday, October 11th for Fall Fest, and Friday, August 1st for Cruise Night.
Okay, but this says, on Mary says full-time status, but it's full-time.
Full-time.
Part-time, it's not a full-time status, so
Right
she's
now-
not getting benefits and,
Right now, she's working 40 hours. So right now, she's at a full-time status.
She's full-time status for a temporary, so the temporary needs to be checked under somewhere too.
temporary
Because
job.
this says full-time Monday through Friday up here's how it's checked. It says full-time status.
Right,
But it's,
but that's what I'm saying, it should be.
but it's not really.
It needs to be,
Thank you.
I mean, when is the end date for Mary?
When we talked before, like 3 to 4 weeks, about getting something from Labor Max.
So instead of full-time Monday through Friday, it should be part-time 20 hours plus.
I just marked it out, I was called
Right.
full month.
Wouldn't that be?
plus?
No, because she's working 40 hours right now, so. as long as
But
she's
part-time
working-
20 hours plus is, but she's not a full-time employee, she's a part-time employee.
Because it's like, even if she's working 40 hours, when it's
I
caught
heard-
up, she's supposed to be finished, right?
Part-time Monday through Friday, 20 plus hours.
That's how it started. And then Mary called him, and he was going to change it. Because, it's something to do with benefits.
Well, if she's a part-time employee, just because she's working 40 hours doesn't mean that she's going to get benefits, right?
Well, she's still gonna have health insurance, she's still gonna have, if you work anything over 32 hours, you get benefits.
Then, yeah, that wasn't my understanding.
Yeah.
She was not gonna be she was not going to be a benefits receiving employee. This was just to pay her some extra and help us get caught up in between now and her next job. So it needs to be less than 32 hours.
Time needs to be controlled. But you never intended for her to be
A full-time
No.
employee.
Because originally you were going to Labor Max.
Right, but it was gonna be probably 40 hours a week for a few weeks.
Until it got caught up.
Right. Even
So
though-
that's what I say, so part-time, I mean, designated at part-time Monday through Friday, 20 plus hours is what I would
But I would say,
designate it as.
go ahead.
But if she's working over the 32 hours, that puts her into benefits.
Let's
Ready to get her back then?
Yes.
reach out to HR and maybe make sure.
So let's hold off on this then.
I think it's correct to say, if you guys ever officially designate her as being a full-time employee, yeah.
She is
If your
not.
intention was that she was hired to be 20, and for some reason that has been exceeded, then I don't think she should.
Originally, it was 20 plus.
Well, if it was 20 plus, I understand, but if she gets up to 40, I'm Christie, at a certain point, you guys would buy, that function and signing off on her payroll, she's become full-time employee.
Right.
So if this is your control, you're saying now, no, we didn't mean that, we didn't mean, we meant less than 32, maybe that needs to be reformed. I
And
think
she can't be contract labor because we're the only ones she does this for.
so that, we're walking on a fine line here, and this is where you stop.
I mean, she was a former employee, so was she off any time in
No.
between?
She
She started
was
there.
done on Friday and started there on Monday.
I mean, I don't know if that makes any difference or.
Well, if she's not working for anybody else, then, I think that's,
I'm just saying, there's never discussion.
So I'm curious,
Yeah.
so it says for payroll notice change, down here in the bottom, it says for definitions of these classifications, see the back of this paper.
You get to make your own rules.
Okay, but the reason I'm saying that, I'm just curious,
that's what I like.
I'm just curious what the definitions are, if there is anything in these that says,
Well, the personnel manual says that. That's what, probably what you're looking for. It says what a full-time employee is, what a part-time employee is. And I think maybe that, if that form isn't exactly coinciding with that, maybe the form is probably
Yeah.
because policy should win, right? But this is a standard throughout, is that 32 plus is usually divided, right? If you're over 32 hours, you're full-time.
Even if you were hired for a 3-month basis part-time.
I'm saying at some point, you guys are perfectly happy with you guys saying, here's the record where you said she's 20 hours part-time.
No,
And then the second one, if you start
well,
going,
as far as the payroll.
she's
thing.
40, you guys prove payroll, so she's working 40 hours. Pretty soon, that argument isn't gonna cut. Big. So,
Okay, I
Bottom line.
understand that, but if we specifically say that we are hiring her for a 2-month period, 40 hours a week,
Yeah, they.
part-time, a part-time position, 40 hours a week for this specific time period, and she is not a full-time employee, because she's gonna be gone in 2 months.
seasonal or temporary, I think that's, yeah, that has to be named.
Okay, well, there's seasonal there's temporary part-time, there's part-time Monday through Friday, 20 plus hours. By specifying her as full-time, I think that's the wrong one to check. I think specifying her as part-time,
Well, if she's
Monday
gonna
through
have
Friday.
40 hours by labor laws, there's certain laws we have to follow.
And that's where I'm getting this to, is that there's,
And I think
temporary
that was Mary's
part-time.
concern when she
So
called
then
us.
You don't have a temporary full-time.
So maybe you shouldn't let her work 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to
Yeah.
cut it back to
Yeah, you got, that's where
so
you're supposed
many
to.
hours to make it right.
Yeah, you're supposed to be managing yours, not, not putting them in a position.
Or, let me ask you this, let me throw this out there, because I understand the labor law, 40 hours, okay, 32, 40, whatever. But then, so if we hire her as a, part-time, Monday through Friday, 20 plus hours, and we figure out what a 40-hour check would be and put her as a salary for those 2 months, does that fix that?
Well, I don't think you can do retroactive, but if you get the front of it, you say we're on salary basis.
From this point forward, she's on salary she's gonna get paid for this many hours, so her salary's gonna be this much per 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
This much per 2 weeks, she's gonna work 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and then she's done.
well, I think you can only do that, you can only salary her and exempt her from that hourly count if she's an administrative employee.
For a contract employee, or,
Well, a contract employee is different too, she's not an employee,
okay,
she's an independent contractor. So, I think we're all dancing around the same thing. In that I think really what you got, the care that's got to be taken is she should have been at 20 hours. If you really wanted to put the clamp on, because you don't want some, I just don't think you want somebody working 40 hours.
less than 20 hours,
who's
it's not
part-time.
more than 20 hours.
It's labor law. 'Cause they-
That's what's on the back of that sheet, that's
Okay,
not on the back of that sheet.
So,
Okay, so these employees normally work part-time, 20 plus hours, right? Set schedule on a regular and continuing basis, these employees normally work 20 or more hours per week and at least 1,000 hours per year, because she's not gonna hit that trigger. So they would not receive sick leave, vacation, if they're not gonna hit 1,000 hours, they would receive sick leave, vacation, paid retirement, or be eligible for health insurance, would they? If they're not gonna hit both triggers?
yeah, I think you probably, the real issue, the labor law issue is overtime. Not necessarily benefits. And so she's not, but yeah.
All right, so then I would say just knock her back to 20 hours and call it good then,
Yeah.
because we're not gonna pay insurance papers, nothing
Or
like
10
that.
hours at least, so she's 30. 30 hours.
Okay.
So she's not gonna trigger any
All right.
time.
Does that make sense? So then we'll change this to
I think they already got one up
part-time, 20 hours a week, 20 plus hours a week.
What do you mean they already have one?
there. That's what I originally turned in, part-time, 4 hours a week.
She probably
So-
got rid of that one.
Then they called me back later and had me do this.
Okay, because I thought we already signed something, so this
Yeah.
was, so we don't even need
We
this.
don't even need this one in.
Goodbye, Todd.
Don't throw that
Thank you. All right.
You do executive session of employee performance for about 10 minutes.
I'll entertain a motion for executive session for employee performance,
I move we go into executive session for
non-elected personnel.
the purpose of, non-elected personnel, matters, employee performance, starting at 11:31, ending at 11:41. Scott, Commissioner, and our clerk.
I'll second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded to go into executive session for matters of non-elected personnel, employee performance. Any more discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion, lawn building use request for the chamber on Saturday, May 24th, 2025, Glory Days. Saturday, October 11th, 2025, Fall Fest. And Friday, August 1st, 2025, Cruise Night. So, again?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve all three of the chamber's requests for the lawn building use permits. All in any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
And Mr. Chairman, I have two things whenever you want those, you can let me know. Two minor details. Christie, was this report something you were gonna go over today, or just for information?
It's just for information.
Thank you.
Unless you want to go through it, we can't do it now. It just gives you a detailed sheet date of what the balances are.
Okay.
And all the disbursements have gone out and everything, correct?
Well, the very first is,
Okay.
but, you have the preferences on there, so that's gonna be what bills we have there thus far.
Okay. Perfect.
But you did your tax distribution, so.
The only thing I saw in there was the ARPA, that reimbursement, road repair and Friends of Manor Creek just need to be deleted out, or did we talk about
I
that?
just haven't got that far
Okay.
yet.
I think we talked about that.
And the special parks and recreation, and then we have special alcohol fund. The alcohol is for, treatment, and those types of things, that's what's in there. And then the 31 is the special, what we'll spend for the ballparks and stuff. And that accrues every month, correct? Or do you get
Yes.
quarterly?
It's quarterly.
Is
Is
it
it
quarterly?
quarterly? Okay. So there'll be additional money coming into that for March or And then the only other thing, the fireman banquet, I don't know that we ever set a date for that. I talked to one of the fire chiefs and he preferred a January, February, because that's when the least amount of calls would come in. It would be those 2 months.
Yeah, I don't think, did they want us to set a date, or,
I think we set a date for it
okay?
and they just work it into their schedule, so I'm thinking February seems, first 1 or 2 weeks of February.
That would be fine with me, let's see.
We just need to develop some,
And when would we have that, during the week?
I think Paxton usually did it on a Wednesday, is that what she said?
and we would just use the new banquet hall up there.
So if that's the case, the February 5th is open, which doesn't give us much time to put it together. The 12th is a Conservation District dinner.
Okay, but back up, Pat
Yep.
has to send stuff out to her
Yeah.
fire people to
I thought-
nominate somebody and
I
that's
thought she was gonna do
And then
that.
you have to,
I'm thinking, we're thinking of,
of next year,
26.
26.
I wasn't
Oh,
thinking.
okay, all right, all right,
That's what I'm
we gotta
saying.
develop
You
some
can't do it,
rules and,
yeah,
I mean,
All right,
that quick.
thank
you know,
you.
that type of thing. Matter of fact, big house up there, if you want to run down real quick. Because I'd like for her to develop kind of the,
Criteria?
yeah, no, it just, you know, I think each fire district has or believes they have
Right.
somebody they want to nominate, they can do so. We only may have 3 districts nominate, and then we'll pick from those.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank goodness, because I was thinking, man, that's.
I was just saying, there's no
Awful
way.
quick turnaround.
No.
Yeah, he was just saying that if we do it, it would be in the month of January or February. They don't want to be during the grass season.
And it might be better in January, February, you have your Farm Bureau stuff, and you have your all things stuff, and, I don't know, anyway. It's hard to say. So, I think, yes.
Sales tax was up.
Hey, Kyle.
51,000.
How are you?
good, how are you guys?
Great.
Good.
Thanks for coming down.
So we were talking about the firemen's
Thank you.
appreciation dinner.
Uh-huh.
Do you have established criteria already for the awards? Just, you know, you're just gonna send out a thing to all of the,
Yeah, we've got a firefighters association meeting in the middle of February, so I'm going to show them the form again. And if they're fine with it, that's when I need to bring it up to you.
okay,
Okay?
yep, perfect. We were discussing that and, I was gonna do it next February, this February, and they were like, no.
No, yeah,
I'd
this
like to get it
February,
on the calendar though.
yeah.
Like for January, February next year is what they
Yeah.
want to do. They
And
thought it was
that's-
a slower time frame.
And, yeah, one of
That's
the,
fine.
I talked to Jeremy down at Hoyt, and he said, if you could plan it for January, February, that would be a slower time for us.
It will be fun.
And so, he said that would be great. If you want to develop what you want them to look for in a firefighter, to nominate them, and not every district, if they don't have anybody that just hasn't met the criteria, but, you know, not everybody has to.
Everybody does turn them in.
Right.
And
And
that's-
so then what we'll do is we will take those names, we'll read through why they believe they need to be, and then we'll choose.
be good.
But I thought, you know, if we have it out of Banner, we'll provide food. I think it's important that the family come, and then we'll acknowledge their spouses. We'll do kind of a little, you know, thing, have all the nominees come up, talk about the importance of what they're doing, and then select, give a plaque, maybe gift certificate, something along those
I
lines.
think the plaque is what we've just done, and they will
Great.
tickle pink with it.
Yeah.
And so, I'm just curious, so,
If you wanna do it in January or February, that is good.
okay,
But we'll get
approximately how many volunteer firefighters do we have in the county?
a little over 300 and some.
So I don't know if the building will hold everybody. If,
Well, not all of them show up.
Sure.
I mean, maybe just the fire chief and the assistant chief and maybe a regular member
okay,
show up. I mean, it hasn't been, I mean, when we did it before COVID hit, we probably had 30 people.
okay, and then, like I say, that's what I wanted to make sure that we're.
Oh, is that all that it's in?
Yeah, and we did it on a Wednesday, I do believe, and a lot of people have church services with their family
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff, so I mean, it varies, but
Maybe we move it to a Thursday or a Tuesday.
Yeah,
definitely too.
we
And
can do that, but like I said, I just wanna make sure that we're gonna have enough room,
Yeah.
because I think, what Kurt say, 150, 180, something like that day? So I wanna make sure that we've got enough room to accommodate everybody.
you will.
Okay.
And once you guys pick your person that you're gonna award the plaque to, let me know so I can work with that fire chief to make sure he can get that person at.
There, yeah.
Yes,
Right.
that's what we usually do. 'Cause
Yeah.
sometimes they kind of forget, and I said, where's your guy at? Because, oh, I'll call him, he'll be right up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and we'll get that done. So like if we're gonna do it in January or February, then if we have nominations from each of the fire chiefs by, first December.
Yeah. that'd be
So,
good.
yeah, so that we've got time to read it through, get chosen, and then,
That'd be good.
let you know so you can do everything. That gives plenty of lead time if we have
Yeah.
like first
In fact,
of
like I
December.
said, after the first of the year, we'll start with my schedule too.
Sure,
So, that's good. I like that.
okay. That
I'll let
sounds,
you know
all right.
what the meeting.
So, just so we can give Kurt something, because it's gonna start filling up with rental for weddings, you name it.
Yeah,
We want a weeknight, correct?
pretty much on this thing you do.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday,
You know what, I can ask him at the fire association meeting in
Okay.
February.
Why don't we do
and
that
try to
then?
get you a date on that. Or call him.
February or January?
It doesn't really matter to me. I just kind of look at here, weather-wise, we're just kind of mercy that too. But I would almost say like the last week of January, first week of February, somewhere in that time frame.
I'll let
would
him
be
know
a-
that.
Yeah. Have him,
Does that
just,
sound good to everybody? I mean, does that?
Yeah, that's.
you wanna come down next week and just let us know?
Perfect.
Well, it won't be next week, it'll be.
Oh, after your-
Fires- Yeah, the Firefighters Association
Yeah.
is the third Wednesday in January
Okay.
at Floyd, so I'll show them.
Meal will be provided by the county, and the award will be, and we'll MC it and host it and all that good stuff.
So I'll get my last lined up probably towards the end of December, to see if we can get on in May. Yes,
Yep.
Yeah.
works.
Sounds good.
Okay, just to let you guys know, I am going to be out of state February 5th through the 12th.
Have fun. Vacation?
Vacation, Arizona. And I talked to Tim, I'll talk to the PD over here and the fire departments and let them know. And usually when I'm on vacation, my phone rings off the wall, which is fine. So,
Are you taking your husband with you?
yeah.
All right.
I love you, baby.
You're not going skiing or anything?
We were, but I don't want to pack a bunch of our ski apparel on the flight and get overcharged for a heavy baggage fee. So I said, we'll just do Colorado.
I got you.
Yep, there you go.
So it'll be good.
Good.
All right, well, I'll get back with you after our February meeting with the fire departments and
Okay.
then.
Be sure you come back.
Denny Ashcraft worked over at the city, and he goes, okay, I'm gone now, you ready? Yeah, I got All right, thanks,
See you
guys.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
So everybody's seen the Henderson resignation letter? Have you seen it? Did you read it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll let you have that back for reference. Let's see. I think we've got the minutes from the 21st. So everybody read through those?
I haven't gotten all the way through.
I haven't gotten through them yet either. In these minutes too, discussing Pat and the manhole, he told me he contacted John Howe and he came up and looked at it and said, yeah, definitely he's done. So he's gonna get 2 bids for sure, and so this spring is when we'll be getting that done. been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from January 21st. Any discussion? Not. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried, minutes approved. The only other thing I've got is the folks that did the dock out at the lake sent us some information about their expanding their business. If anybody cares to look at it, we'll leave this here. Care to look at it?
No, not
Okay.
this time.
I mean,
If
they're
Kurt
expanding
wants-
their
Something
business,
to
so,
Kurt?
yeah, I'll give that to Kurt.
Yeah,
Yeah, when he comes in next Friday. So.
yeah,
All right, is there any other business before us?
I believe so.
All
We're
right.
gonna look at that, so you give it back to Ann. You should have given it back to.
Yeah, we'll have to get that back to you, so yeah.
See you on Friday.
We might wanna, I mean, I'm curious. That's just their tax statements and everything.
Can you make a copy of that?
Yeah, make a copy of that. I think that this here, this is just their tax statement, I really don't.
Right. That's it, so that we be sure we get it back.
Yeah. Yeah, let's, give me that so you can get back to Kurt. I'll give this to Kurt.
It's just for information, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no further business before us, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Is there a
Second.
second? Okay, it's been properly moved and second to adjourn the meeting. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried, meeting's adjourned. All right. Thank you.